The battlefield was quiet, but not peaceful. Broken ships floated like dead giants in the dark space. Fires still burned inside metal wounds, and lost signals echoed without answer. Elias moved slowly through the wreckage in his small repair shuttle. He was not a soldier. He was not a hero. He was a human engineer who survived by fixing what others abandoned. His scanners showed weak power ahead. Not a weapon signal, not a distress call. Just a fading royal energy code that should not exist here. Elias frowned and guided his shuttle closer. What he saw made his hands freeze. A massive alien flagship, cracked open like a broken crown, drifted without control. This is impossible, he whispered to himself. Royal ships never fell alone. And when they did, survivors did not remain unprotected. He docked carefully and stepped inside using his suit light. The corridor walls were burned black. Elite guards lay silent on the floor, their armor split by precision fire. At the center chamber, Elias saw it. A tall figure collapsed against a command pillar. Golden armor, royal markings, and a helmet split open at the side. His breath caught. This was the queen of the Aurelian Empire. Even humans knew the rule. Touching alien royalty without permission meant death. Life support alarms blinked weakly on her helmet. Air leaking, power failing, heart rate unstable. Elias checked his timer. She had minutes, maybe less. He stepped back, fear shaking his body. If he left, she would die. If he helped, he would be executed. This is not my war, he said quietly. But his hands were already moving. Elias opened his tool pack. Human tools were simple, not elegant. Wires, sealant foam, patch plates, and emergency power cells. He worked fast, ignoring the royal symbols, ignoring the laws written in blood. The helmet crack was too complex for a full repair, so he adapted. He rerouted the airflow, sealed the break with layered polymer, then linked a human battery directly to the alien system. The helmet hummed. Life support stabilized. The queen's breathing slowed. Elias stepped back, heart pounding. He had just committed a crime across an entire empire. At that moment, distant footsteps echoed through the ship. Elite guards, still alive, returning. Elias looked around. No escape, no hiding. The queen's fingers moved slightly. Then her eyes opened behind the glowing visor. She looked at him, not with anger, not with fear, but with confusion. A human knelt before her, holding broken royal armor in his hands. Before anything could be said, weapons powered up behind him. Step away from the queen. A voice roared. Elias raised his hands slowly. I repaired her helmet, he said calmly. She was dying. Energy cuffs locked around his wrists. Guards dragged him back as medics rushed forward. The queen sat up fully now, her helmet system stable, stronger than before. She touched the repaired section and paused. Who is he? She asked, her voice firm. A human scavenger, a guard replied. Execution pending. The queen looked at Elias again, long and carefully. Her eyes narrowed, not in anger, but thought. Delay it, she said. The guards froze. No one questioned a royal command. As Elias was taken away, he realized something important. He had not saved a queen. He had changed a future. And far away, human space would soon feel the echo of this small act. If you enjoy deep sci-fi stories where simple humans change powerful worlds, please consider subscribing to this channel and becoming part of the journey. The queen watched the human disappear into the corridor. And for the first time in her reign, she wondered what kind of species fixes instead of conquers. Elias was dragged through the silent halls of the flagship. His boots barely touching the floor. The energy cuffs around his wrists burned with every movement. Alien guards surrounded him, weapons ready, eyes cold and unforgiving. He did not resist. Humans learned long ago that panic solved nothing. The corridor opened into a vast judgment chamber. Tall pillars glowed with ancient symbols. This was not a court of debate. This was a place where decisions ended lives. Elias was thrown to his knees at the center platform. The cuffs locked him in place, forcing his head down. Above him, members of the Royal Council appeared one by one, their forms tall, armored, and distant. A voice echoed through the chamber. State the crime. A guard stepped forward. The human touched royal armor without command, altered the queen's helmet, and contaminated sacred systems. A low murmur spread across the council. Some expressed anger. Others showed clear disgust. Elias finally looked up. Dozens of alien eyes stared down at him. To them, he was weak, small, temporary. The punishment, another voice said, is immediate execution. Elias closed his eyes for a brief moment, not in fear, but in acceptance. He had made his choice in the wreckage. Before you end him, a calm voice interrupted. The chamber froze. The Queen entered slowly, supported by royal medics. Her repaired helmet gleamed softly, the patched section clearly visible. Every council member bowed. Every guard lowered their weapon. Elias felt the weight of her presence before he saw her. Bring him closer, the Queen ordered. The cuffs unlocked just enough for him to stand. He was pushed forward until he stood beneath her platform. You, the Queen said, her voice steady. Why did you repair my helmet? Elias swallowed. Because it was broken, he replied simply. A ripple of mockery moved through the council. The Queen raised one finger, and silence returned instantly. You knew the law, she continued. You knew the risk. Yes, Elias answered. I did. Then why? She asked. Elias took a slow breath. Where I come from, broken things are not ignored. If we can fix them, we do. The council reacted sharply. One member stepped forward angrily. This human dares judge royal fate with primitive logic. The Queen did not look away from Elias. You altered my life systems, she said. They function better now than before. Elias nodded. Your original design was perfect for control, he said carefully, but not for damage. So I gave it flexibility. That word caused unease. Flexibility was not admired in the Empire. The Queen lifted her hand and touched the repaired section of her helmet again. It saved me, she said, and it embarrassed those who failed. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. This human's action exposed weakness, one counselor argued. He must be removed. Elias felt the air grow heavy. Execution loomed again. The Queen turned slowly, her gaze sharp. He is not a weapon, she said. He is not an enemy. He is a variable. That word carried danger. I claim responsibility, she continued. If he is guilty, then I accept the outcome. Gasps echoed through the chamber. No ruler said such things lightly. The Queen stepped closer to the edge of the platform, looking directly at Elias. You repaired my helmet without permission, she said quietly. That is true. Then she leaned closer. And yet, you did not try to escape. I didn't, Elias said. If you died, nothing I did would matter. For a long moment, the Queen said nothing. Then she turned back to the council. The execution is suspended, she declared. The human will remain under my authority. What purpose does he serve? A council member demanded. The Queen answered without hesitation. The same one he already proved. He fixes what others fear to touch. Elias felt the cuffs fully unlock. But freedom did not come. Two guards moved to his sides, not to drag him away, but to escort him. As he was led from the chamber, Elias realized the truth. Death had been delayed, not cancelled. Behind him, the Queen watched carefully. A small, thoughtful silence settled within her. The human had not begged. He had not praised her power. He had not feared her crown. And that unsettled her more than any enemy fleet ever had. Elias was given a small room near the engine core. Not a prison, but not freedom either. Two guards stood outside at all times, silent and watchful. The Queen's order was clear. The human would remain close. Within hours, officers began bringing broken systems to him. First, it was a test. A damaged sensor array that alien engineers had failed to restore. Elias studied it quietly. He did not ask for advanced tools. He asked for basic access. He removed parts that were too perfect. He loosened connections meant to never bend. He rewired pathways to allow mistakes. When the system powered on, it worked. Not beautifully, but reliably. Whispers spread through the ship. The human did not upgrade technology. He changed how it survived damage. Soon, more systems arrived. Cooling vents, power relays, shield controls. Each one repaired in a way that confused alien logic. The Queen watched from a distance. Her presence unseen. Her attention sharp. Humans were supposed to be fragile, short-lived, easily broken. Yet this one treated failure as normal. During a routine patrol, alarms suddenly screamed. Internal sabotage detected. A secondary reactor began to overload. Engineers froze. Standard protocol demanded shutdown. But shutdown would leave the ship powerless. Elias ran forward without waiting for permission. "Do not shut it down," he shouted. "Let it breathe." No one understood his words, but the Queen's voice echoed through the chamber. "Let him work." Elias redirected excess energy into unused systems. Systems never meant to hold power. They strained, cracked, but held. The overload stopped. The ship survived. Silence followed. Then shock. A senior engineer approached slowly. "You risked total failure," he said. Elias nodded. "Yes. But it was already failing." That answer spread faster than the alarms had. Later that cycle, the Queen summoned Elias privately. The chamber was smaller, quieter. No council, no crowd. "You act without fear," she said. Elias shook his head. "I act with fear," he replied. "I just don't let it decide." The Queen studied him. "Your species does not fear death." "We do," Elias answered. "That's why we fix things before they kill us." Her eyes narrowed slightly, thoughtful. Before the meeting could continue, weapons fire rocked the ship. Emergency lights flashed red. Assassins breached the inner ring. Elite guards rushed to the Queen. But Elias saw the problem instantly. The attackers used signal disruption. Royal shields failed to lock properly. Elias moved to the control panel. He bypassed security locks without hesitation. A crime again. He rewrote shield timing. Not stronger, just unpredictable. The assassins' weapons misfired. The shields adapted between shots. Guards eliminated the threat quickly. Smoke filled the chamber. The Queen remained unharmed. Silence followed once more. Then realization. This was not coincidence. Someone inside wanted the Queen dead. The Queen turned slowly toward Elias. "You saved me again," she said. Elias looked exhausted. "I didn't plan to," he replied. "I just didn't want the system to break." That night, the Queen addressed the council publicly. "The human engineer has preserved my life twice," she declared. "He remains under my protection." Anger burned in many council eyes. Fear in others. A human, so close to the crown. In quiet corridors, plots began to form. The variable had become dangerous. As Elias returned to his guarded room, he felt it. The pressure, the eyes, the silence. He realized the truth at last. Fixing machines was easy. Fixing power was not. And somewhere behind reinforced walls, the Queen removed her helmet slowly, tracing the repaired section with her fingers. For reasons she did not yet understand. She smiled. The truth did not arrive loudly. It came in fragments, whispers, and broken data. Elias was working near the outer systems when he noticed it. A pattern that did not belong. Power logs that reset themselves too cleanly. Damage reports that ended 1 second too early. Alien systems were perfect by design. Too perfect. Perfection, Elias knew, hid lies. He followed the data quietly, step by step, until it led him back to one moment. The moment the Queen's helmet failed. His hands slowed. His breathing changed. The damage was not random. Not enemy fire. Not battle stress. It was internal. A controlled micro-overload. Precise. Elegant. Invisible. Designed to look like war damage. Elias leaned back slowly. Someone had wanted the Queen dead. Before he could think further, guards appeared. Not rushing. Not aggressive. Too calm. "The Queen requests your presence," one said. The private chamber felt different now. Heavier. The Queen stood alone. Helmet off. Crown lights dimmed. "You found it," she said before he spoke. Elias hesitated. Then nodded. "Yes." The helmet was sabotaged. Silence filled the room. Not shock. Acceptance. "They tried to remove me without a war," the Queen said. "A clean ending." Elias clenched his jaw. "And my repair ruined it." "Yes," she replied. "You repaired more than armor." She walked closer. Her voice lower now. "The Council fears change," she continued. "And humans represent it." Elias exhaled slowly. "I didn't mean to get involved." "No," the Queen said. "But you did." That same cycle, the Council met without calling him. their anger sharpened, their patience gone. A human engineer had seen what was never meant to be seen. Orders were written, quiet ones, final ones. Elias felt it before it happened. The guards outside his room changed. New armor, new weapons, no conversation. When they moved him, it was not toward a work site. It was toward the inner hall. The queen was already there, standing before the council, her posture calm. Dangerous. This human is a threat, a counselor declared. He knows too much. Elias stepped forward before he was stopped. I didn't come to expose anyone, he said. I just fixed what was broken. The queen raised one hand. Silence returned instantly. He stays, she said, and he will stand beside me. Shock rippled through the hall. Beside you? Another counselor repeated sharply. The queen turned slightly toward Elias, her eyes sharp, unreadable. In our old language, she said calmly, one who protects the crown is called a groom. Gasps filled the chamber. The word carried weight. Not marriage, not romance. Duty, proximity, trust. Elias stiffened. My queen, he said carefully. I belong to no one. A dangerous statement. For a moment the queen studied him. Then something unexpected happened. She smiled, just slightly. Good, she said. Then you stand because you choose to. That choice shook the council more than rebellion ever could. From that moment, everything changed. Rumors spread through the empire. A human groom, a broken tradition, a crown protected by weakness. Enemies listened. Allies doubted. That night, alarms screamed again. Not sabotage. An approaching fleet. A rival empire had detected instability. They came to claim what they believed was falling. War was coming. As commanders gathered, Elias stood quietly at the edge, watching maps, movements, predictions. The queen turned to him once more. You broke their perfect plan, she said softly. Now help me survive the imperfect future. Elias looked at the stars on the display, at thousands of lives depending on fragile systems. I can't promise victory, he said. The queen nodded. I don't need victory. I need adaptability. Outside the chamber, the fleet closed in. Inside, the council realized too late. The human was no longer the weakest piece on the board. He was the one that could not be predicted. The council chamber felt smaller than before, not because its walls had moved, but because fear had entered the room. Holographic stars burned above the floor. Enemy fleets advancing in clean, perfect lines. Every council member saw the same truth. The empire was about to be tested, and the human stood among them. He must be claimed, one counselor said sharply, placed under royal ownership before this war begins. The word ownership echoed, cold, final. Elias did not react at first. He had heard worse across space. The queen's eyes narrowed. Explain, she demanded. Humans are unstable variables. The counselor continued. If he remains free, he may defect, sabotage or flee. Claiming him ensures control. Silence followed. Then Elias stepped forward. Slowly, deliberately. My queen, he said, respectful but firm. I will stand beside you, but I will not be owned. Gasps filled the chamber. A refusal of command. Almost treason. Weapons shifted slightly. The queen raised her hand again. Where I come from, Elias continued, loyalty is chosen. If you chain it, you break it. The queen studied him closely. Not the engineer. The species. You risk much by saying this, she said. I know, Elias replied. But if I am only a tool, then nothing I fix will last. The council erupted. He manipulates philosophy. He challenges authority. Before they could go further, the war alarms screamed. Louder than before, closer. Enemy ships crossed the outer boundary. Weapons charged. No more debate. The queen turned sharply. War council now, she commanded. Commanders rushed to stations. Strategies formed instantly. Direct confrontation, heavy shields, full power. Elias watched the plans quietly, then spoke. That will fail, he said. All eyes turned toward him. The enemy expects strength, Elias continued. Your ships are stronger, but predictable. Commander snapped. You suggest cowardice. I suggest survival, Elias replied. Let them think you are breaking. The Queen tilted her head. Explain. Elias pointed at the map. Redirect power from weapons to engines. Let systems show damage. Make them rush in close. You want us to look weak? A counselor said in disbelief. Yes. Elias answered simply. We are very good at that. The Queen considered for only a moment, then nodded. Do it. As the fleet altered formation, murmurs of doubt spread. Enemy sensors reacted immediately. They advanced faster, confident, hungry. At the last moment, Elias activated the real trap. Energy surged into systems never meant for combat. Auxiliary fields, repair grids, cargo stabilizers. The battlefield twisted. Enemy weapons misaligned. Formations collapsed into chaos. The first wave was destroyed, not by power, by confusion. Cheers echoed across the command deck. But Elias did not smile. This will not end it, he said quietly. They will adapt. And they did. See, a second wave struck harder, smarter. A direct attack on the flagship. A hit tore through the upper hull. Emergency lights flared. The Queen was thrown to the floor. Her helmet cracked again. Elias ran without thinking. Fire and smoke burning his lungs. He reached her side. Blood on her armor. Life signs fading. Guards hesitated. Protocol demanded clearance. Elias ignored them. He opened his toolpack once more. As alarms screamed and enemies closed in, he began repairing the helmet again. Hands shaking, heart steady. Around them, the Empire held its breath. This time, the Queen's survival would decide more than a war. Fire filled the command deck. Metal screamed as the ship shook under enemy fire. Warning lights flashed without rhythm. Nothing was stable anymore. Elias knelt beside the Queen, blocking sparks with his own body. Her armor was cracked, her breathing shallow. The helmet seal was failing fast. Move away, a guard shouted. The hull is collapsing. Elias did not move. If I stop now, she dies, he said, voice steady. He pulled wires from the broken helmet and connected them to his portable cell. The power was weak, barely enough. Around them, the battle turned brutal. Enemy ships adapted faster than expected. They changed formations, rotated frequencies, pushed closer. Human tactics had surprised them, but surprise never lasted forever. On the main display, Allied ships began to fall. One by one, signals vanished. The commander shouted, "We are losing the outer ring." Elias sealed the last crack in the helmet and activated emergency flow. The Queen gasped sharply, then breathed again. "She's stable," Elias said, "but she cannot fight." The Queen's eyes opened slowly behind the visor. She saw the burning deck, the collapsing map, and she understood. "Help him up," she ordered weakly. Guards lifted Elias to his feet. His hands were shaking now, not from fear, from exhaustion. "The enemy believes this war is about strength," Elias said quickly. "They will never expect surrender." The council hesitated. "Surrender is extinction," one replied. "Not real surrender," Elias answered. "A human one." The Queen turned her head slightly toward him. "Explain," she said. Elias pointed at the damaged ships on the screen. "Broadcast distress. Open formations. Let them board." Shock spread instantly. "That is madness," a commander yelled. Elias met the Queen's gaze. "Humans win wars by surviving them," he said, "not by looking powerful." For a long second, nothing happened. Then the Queen spoke, voice firm despite her wounds. "Do it." The fleet broadcast panic signals. Weapons powered down. Hull breaches left open. Enemy commanders reacted exactly as Elias predicted. They rushed forward to claim victory, to capture the Queen alive. That was the moment everything changed. Hidden systems activated across the damaged ships. Internal defense grids. Close-range traps. Human-style ambushes built from repair tools and cargo locks. Boarding parties vanished inside corridors that shifted and collapsed. Doors sealed. Gravity reversed. Power surged unpredictably. The battlefield became close, chaotic, human. Enemy ships began retreating too late. Confusion spread through their ranks. But victory demanded a price. A final strike pierced the flagship. Straight toward the command deck. Guards moved instantly. Too late. The Queen was struck again. Thrown against the throne. Her helmet shattered completely this time. Silence fell. Even the alarms seemed to pause. Elias ran to her side, fear finally breaking through. Her eyes were open, but fading. No more power, he whispered, checking his tools. No more patches. The Queen looked at him and smiled, faint but certain. You kept your word, she said. You chose to stand. Elias shook his head. I didn't finish fixing it. You did, she replied softly. You fixed the future. Her life signs dropped sharply. Across the fleet, enemy ships began retreating fully. The war was ending, but the crown was falling. Elias pressed his hands against the broken helmet, refusing to stop. Humans don't quit, he said through clenched teeth. Around them, the Empire watched. Not a groom, not a servant, but a human trying to save someone because she mattered. And in that moment, no one knew if the Queen would live, or if humanity's greatest victory would also be its greatest loss. The command deck was silent now, not peaceful, waiting. Elias stayed on his knees beside the Queen, his hands pressed against the broken helmet. Blood, sparks, and shattered glass mixed beneath his fingers. Medical teams stood frozen. No protocol covered this. No law explained what a human was allowed to do at the edge of a crown. She is gone, one medic whispered. Elias shook his head slowly. No, he said. Not yet. He disconnected every safety rule, every limit written by alien engineers, and rebuilt the helmet's core one last time. Not as royal armor, not as sacred technology, but as a simple life support shell. He used emergency sealant, backup oxygen, and his own suit's power line. If it failed, he would fall with her. Minutes passed, each second heavy. Then the helmet flickered. Once, twice, a weak breath echoed inside the chamber. The Queen lived. A quiet sound spread through the deck. Not cheers. Relief. Her eyes opened slowly, unfocused at first, then clear. She saw Elias slumped beside her, exhausted, shaking, still holding the helmet together with his hands. You are very difficult to dismiss, she whispered. Elias laughed weakly. That's what broken systems say. Medical teams rushed forward now, stabilizing her, lifting her carefully. For the first time since the war began, the Queen was safe. Outside the flagship, enemy ships jumped to retreat. The war ended not with conquest, but confusion. Days later, the Empire gathered, not for judgment, for understanding. The Queen stood before the council once more, her helmet repaired again, this time openly marked with human work. This war showed us a truth, she said. Strength alone does not rule the future. She gestured toward Elias, standing freely, no guards beside him. This human was called a groom, she continued. Not as a mate, not as property. Murmurs filled the chamber. In our oldest meaning, the Queen said clearly, a groom is one who prepares the path forward, one who protects what is fragile until it becomes strong. She turned toward Elias. You repaired my helmet, she said. But more than that, you repaired how we see humanity. The council bowed, some in respect, some in surrender. The title was offered, not forced, not commanded. Elias accepted only one thing, partnership. Weeks later, human ships arrived, cautious and small, expecting threat. They found respect instead. Elias returned home not as a hero of war, but as a bridge. The story spread across stars, not of a human who conquered an empire, but of one who knelt in wreckage and chose to fix instead of flee. And when future rulers asked what changed the balance of the galaxy, the answer was simple: a broken helmet, a human engineer, and the courage to care. He did not rule the stars. He repaired them,